Sisters, you are listening to Z on the Community Connections program today, and we have some wonderful guests as we always do, and it's almost the end of Ramadan now, maybe 2 days left, and it has just come and it has gone so fast, so quick, you blink of an eye almost, it feels like that, right? And the body is now fully adjusted, fully reset and ready for another 11 months of doing good work in the community. So I'm hoping that all of you will join in doing all the good work that we have been all working on together with all the different charities that have joined with us, and many, many good initiatives happening in the city. We have a lot of work to do, community building, interactions with each other to create a more integrated Leicester city. That is what we want to do. We want to set the example to be the best in the whole of the world, not only in Leicester or not only in England, but throughout the world. My guest here to the right, of course you will not be able to see that, is Mr. Nick Thomson from the Rotary, President of the Rotary Club in Leicester. Mm-hmm. How are you, Nick? Welcome to Radio Ramadan.
I'm very well, and thank you very much for having me.
So this is your first time on Ramadan FM?
It is.
So we're going to go through the spirit of Ramadan with Nick during the program and just discuss with him, and we'll no doubt you'll do a bit of Q&A with us, and we can learn together. Mm-hmm. Awareness is good for all of us. And here to my left is Richard Narayan, and you're also from the Rotary, yes?
Yes, I joined Rotary Club as a member in October 2022, but I'd been actively engaging with Rotary for about 6 months before, and currently engaging in some Rotary projects as well.
That's wonderful. Now, this is our first engagement with Rotary Leicester, and this is their first engagement with us. So how we all have to work together with the wider communities which are outside our sphere is the way forward. We all have to be aware, and engagement, learning about each other is the way forward. How we can support each other in some of the good work that we are doing. All these organizations, they are not paid up people who work in these organizations tirelessly. It's all about time capital. So all of you, all the people around in our database, they work on time capital. They give a lot of time to their community for many, many projects. And that is the only way we are going to build a better, safer community, by working together, bringing awareness to each other. Now, Leicester's not a big city. It's a small city. Nick, would you happen to know what's the population of the city? Because I know you are living in the county.
Well, actually, I live in the city.
You live in the city?
I do live in the city.
Oh, you caught me there, Nick. You caught me out there. This is live radio. It happens.
But my understanding is it's about 350,000 people.
Oh, you're out of date, Nick.
Am I?
This is going to be a good day of awareness today. And Richard, would you like to have a guess at that?
Can I go higher or lower?
You got to have a go.
I go 380.
380. Now, both of them are wrong, and they're out of date. That was like the 21 census. So if you looked at the latest census, you'll see that the city is almost 465,000 strong, the city. Now, you're going to ask yourselves, well, what happened? Where did all these people come from? So progressively, the city is growing with influxes from outside, whether it's global or whether it's from another city, people are moving here. And this is what's happening. With a lot of transient people are coming and some are going. But a lot are coming here to settle. Why they come here is because they see Leicester to be an asset-based city for them. So 465, there's only one person who's got it right throughout the month. That was Mr. Rob Nixon. He's our chief constable in the city. He's the only one who got it right. Of course, he's probably well read on these matters because he's dealing with people every day. But you see how important it is to be aware of your city, Nick?
Mm. Oh, yes, absolutely.
And so some of us, like you and I, will know the city from back in the day, from many years ago, maybe the 70s, 80s, 90s. So we've seen that journey, and we've seen the changes in the city progressively.
Yes.
Right? Rapid changes, and not a single road you can recognize today as how it used to be. And just this road here outside the studio is called Conway Road. used to be a cobble street, and they were lighting bonfires in the middle of the road in the November the 5th. Now, that was back in the day when there were hardly any cars, Nick,
Yes.
on the roads, and all the roads were walking and bicycle. So that is impossible today, isn't it, Richard?
Yeah, health and safety gone wild. That and the fact that you wouldn't have a bonfire in the street. You'd have to get permits to close the street off, and a whole host of other things to be done beforehand.
You wouldn't light a matchstick now.
Not without a permit.
Yeah, that's how it is. So now, Nick, tell us about the Rotary Club. The listeners are always keen to know every organization in the city.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do, and what is their remit? How long they've been established?
Okay. So Rotary is actually, it's an international organisation, and it's completely non-religious and it's completely non-political. It tends to be made up of professional and business people. The idea being for fellowship and also for taking charitable actions, humanitarian actions, either locally in your community right here or internationally. They promote high ethical standards, and we also have a view that we should work for peace in the world. The motto of Rotary is service above self. Now, there are about 1.4 million members of Rotary internationally in something like 35,000 Rotary clubs. The Rotary Club of Leicester is one of them. As it happens, there are also two other Rotary clubs within the city of Leicester. One called the Rotary Club of Leicester Novus, and one called the Rotary Club of Leicester de Montfort. But our club is the oldest and the biggest of the three. So Rotary started in Chicago, in fact, in 1905, when a chap called Paul Harris arrived in the city and decided that he would like to set up an arrangement whereby he could meet fellow businessmen and professionals. And that was in 1905. It became Rotary. The name Rotary actually came from the fact that they would rotate round each other's offices for their weekly meetings. So 6 years later, Rotary arrived in the UK, and Leicester Rotary was founded in 1916, 5 years after that. So Leicester Rotary Club has been around for 107 years now. There are, internationally, there is Rotary Foundation, perhaps the most famous, if you like, project that Rotary Foundation has been engaged in certainly for the last 35 years, has been a campaign to end polio in the world. It's an appalling disease affecting children, and there is a campaign still running to vaccinate every child in the world against polio. And polio now only exists, wild polio only exists in two places, and that is on the borders between Pakistan and Afghanistan. So it's nearly gone. It's nearly gone, which is a great thing. Obviously, the World Health Organization has been involved in this extensively, but Rotary continues to give money towards this project. Within the Rotary Club of Leicester, we do fundraising and we do community action. And those are projects either within our own community or they are international. perhaps locally, one of the earliest club projects was to buy and then donate Switzerland Wood, now managed by Bradgate Park. Switzerland Wood was donated to the people of Leicester and Leicestershire, alongside the donation of Bradgate Park. For our centenary project in 2016, we fundraised and developed a visitor centre in Bradgate Park, and a lot of your listeners may have been to see that visitor centre now.
No, I thought it was John Bradgate who was responsible for that.
The Bradgate Park itself was donated by, oh goodness me, I can't remember the name. But Switzerland Wood was an attachment, is beyond Bradgate Park, coming away from the city, and it was going to be bought by timber merchants to chop it down for timber, and the Rotary Club at that time, this is back in the 1920s, bought the land and then donated it to the city and to the county for the people to use and visit.
So what's interesting, all of you listening in right now, is how any project that you do anywhere, your key factor has got to be sustainability. How Rotary has sustained itself from 1916 to 2023, over 100 years, which is 108 years is incredible.
It's an impressive record, isn't
now,
it?
what is the way forward for all other organizations who are listening in right now is that how do they create a product which is sustainable? How do they do that? How does Rotary do that?
Goodness me.
Now that's almost like we are talking about 3 generations.
Yes.
So before you, there were almost 3 other generations.
Absolutely.
Who were doing the work that you are doing now.
Yes, and the world has changed in that time, and the availability that people have for giving their time has changed in that time too. The world of work has changed, and the club has to change itself to service the needs, effectively, the needs of its customers, and its customers are its members. So the club can't stay how it was in 1916. It has to be flexible and promote itself in ways that we now, the media that we now have, and to offer the people who would wish to be members of the club something that will work for them, rather than try and force potential members into a fixed solution of what Rotary is. Our club has, the Leicester Rotary Club, has in fact developed an approach to this which satisfies, I hope, the older members of the club and also the newer, younger members of the club, in that we have created the way the club currently works is that the main club meets once a week on a Monday over lunch. Now, for some people, that doesn't work. So we have developed an alternative meeting venue for those members of the club who would prefer to have something less formal, who would prefer to meet in the evening, and who are primarily interested in pushing forward with projects. So we have a sort of two-stream membership of the club, but always the idea is that we all remain members of the one club, that we interact with each other at given opportunities. And for instance, Richard, sitting next to me, is a member of the Leicester Rotary Club, but he goes to the Wednesday evening group. But last Monday, Richard came to the Monday lunchtime group and gave a talk about his project that he is promoting at the moment, the Walk for Water. So we need to be working together, but in ways that we can engage the people in ways that they want to be engaged.
Okay, just to recap, all our listeners listening in right now, I have with me in the studio today Nick Thomson, President of the Rotary Club in Leicester, and we have Richard Narayan joining me today on Ramadan FM. And it's wonderful to have you. Richard, can you tell us about when you joined the Rotary Club and what is your vision? What enticed you to join?
So let's say 20 months ago, I personally hadn't heard of Rotary. I hadn't been aware of what Rotary does. And since I found out a bit about Rotary, I asked a few questions, checked out the website, contacted Nick and Diana, and said, I'd love to know a little bit more. Friends of mine said, you're into charity work, you're into getting involved in other areas. There's an organization that quietly just gets stuff done. And I said, okay, let me find out a bit more about it. 6 months, I went to some of the meetings, got to know some of the members. The club itself has existed for long before I have. And a lot of the members have been members for a lot longer than I have and have existed around for a lot longer. A wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge is shared. I joined officially as a member in October. I had the pleasure of also going with yourself, Zed, to Uganda to learn more about Rotary, to learn more about activities that people of all over the world do in terms of building water wells, community engagement, helping people in poverty, creating small sustainable projects. And over the course of the last just under a year or so, I've got to learn so much about an organization that has existed since 1905. But not only that, part of the nature of why we're here today as well. I figured being a new Rotarian, I bring some new ideas to the table. And I wanted to have a meeting where it's outside of the normal conventional meeting space, because normally we meet at Brookfield. But the nature of Rotary is you rotate between different offices. I said, why don't we try something new for one meeting and we'll go to a different office and we'll rotate somewhere. So based on what Nick was saying, I thought it would be a really good idea to try something slightly different and rotate. We don't have to rotate every week, but I figured it would just be something interesting to keep trying. So another week will be hosted by another organization. But I think the ideology is, or shared values, service above self. There's more to life than just serving yourself. Good deeds you do hopefully do come back, or they're paid forward.
I think I like that idea, Nick, where one organization is going to go and do a meeting at the offices or premises of another organization. So by that method, both organizations, they learn about each other.
Yeah. Yes.
So how wonderful that, if putting aside all our different areas we have in Leicester City, and we make like a database and we engage with each other. And we bring each other to each other. And this is the way forward. So all of you listening in right now, you've heard Richard, how he joined. He simply went on the website and he was able to find all the people. So today what we're going to do an iftar with all of you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're going to do an iftar together. And we are going to learn more about each other. And I'm going to explain to these Rotarians that are going to join us what is the essence of iftar, what is the Ramadan all about, and how we're going to integrate together going forward. We need to move forward and build our bridges stronger, Nick.
Absolutely.
Guys, are you up for that?
Oh, yeah. Always.
And all of you listening in, let's hope that you will also join us on this journey, that we work together as a team. And we're going to do a lot of talking inside there in the next hour when we do our iftar. So, guys, I'm going to introduce you now to another group. They're going to join us now. And come on in. And there's only one of you? Two of you. So they're going to take over now. And before they take over, let me introduce what they are here to do. You'll have heard recently of the earthquake in Turkey.
Yes.
And I personally went there and I saw the disaster there, and many organizations from Leicester went there to Turkey to do some wonderful work. So these ladies are joining us today. They are from the Turkish community. I bet you don't know how many people live in Leicester from the Turkish community. Nick, have a go.
He's going to ask me second, so go on, you guess first.
100,000.
No.
Too many.
In the city,
50,000.
50,000. No, 465 we have in Leicester, right? So by the time you leave today, you're all going to learn about numbers, all our diverse numbers in the city. So I'll tell you after we finish this program, because I need to check it out myself, Nick.
Okay.
I don't even know myself.
Okay.
But I will tell you it's about 2,000.
As a matter of interest, just before I go, there is an organisation called Shelterbox, which started in Rotary.
Yeah.
And our club donated 2 shelter boxes for the earthquake disaster. De Montfort Rotary Club of Leicester de Montfort, I think, donated. They managed to donate, and Novus managed to donate 4 together. Yeah. So from Leicester, 6 of these shelter boxes have gone out.
A shelter box is like a prefab home.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
And that I'm aware of because I physically saw them. And I'll share much of my experience with you, Nick, when I come out outside as to what we saw there when we went out there. But again, like you said, it's just one area of earthquake, natural calamity, disaster in the world. And it's happening all over the world. And we are carrying the world on our shoulders now. That is called globalization.
Yes. Wherever you look, you can find something that you can help to support.
Definitely. So we'll be doing a lot of work together. And today you've had an introduction. Your name is Elif?
Yes.
Elif from the Turkish community.
Yes.
We've spoken before, haven't we? Yeah. And we will do some interaction after the program with Nick Thomson from the Rotary Club.
Absolutely.
Right.
Good.
Nick, I'll catch up with you at iftar time.
Thanks very much for having us.
We'll do some more connections inside and so on. Elif, welcome to Ramadan FM.
Thank you for your invite once again. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, so today we are obviously focusing on the Turkish earthquake and the Syria.
Yeah.
And actually, those are the brothers and sisters who have been there. You will have seen that Syria is in a worse condition than Turkey is. Now, Elif, when I went there to Antakya, I went to Hatay, I went to Rihanli, I saw that there are many of the Turkish organizations working together with the UK organizations in delivering projects in Syria as well.
Yeah.
Because Turkish have got more resource, more funding available, whereas Syria, they have nothing. And the area I went to was predominantly, it was the Syrian who were living there. They speak Arabic in that area, in Hatay, and they speak Turkish, and they speak no English. So this is, we had a good translator, so we were okay. And when you're working in the world of charity, you don't need to speak the language. Charity, poverty, when you see people in distress, that is a language. That is the language of humanity. So, Elif, tell us what you've been doing in Turkey for the earthquake.
We found out about the earthquake the morning of, and our first initial instinct was to get together at our community centre. We sent a message out to the community members to gather products, unwanted products from their own homes. So we brought jackets, winter outfits, boots. We got together and we were just packing it, thinking we'd be able to send it with people we know that are travelling to Turkey. And it literally just started with that. And then Turkish Airlines got in contact with us saying, we're going to send you a plane every day for the rest of the week. You can, gather donations. So we started putting it on socials. And before you know it, we had so many The gardens were full, the free rooms, the community centre was packed.
The community centre in Leicester.
Yeah, on Saffron Lane, yeah.
Yeah. Now there's one on Saffron Lane, and then there's another one near the John Lewis,
Yeah,
which is a mosque also in the community centre, isn't there?
yeah.
So we were all asking the question: how many Turkish in Leicester?
Well,
Loads.
loads.
Loads. Nah, that's not a good answer. We need numbers. No.
No, I have no idea.
What's the population of Leicester?
Now that's the question I ask. Right? Now you're asking me, and I already know the answer. It's about 465,000. Right?
I was gonna say 3.
No, it used to be 3. It used to be 3. Now introduce yourself, because Elif is well known here. Everyone knows Elif in Leicester. You are also part of the same group?
Yeah,
I see.
the Turkish community volunteer.
Okay, volunteer, yeah. So volunteers is what the Rotary Club are doing also. All their organization is with volunteers. And we asked them earlier on, what do you do to keep this organization still thriving? They started in 1906 and it's 2023.
Wow.
That is almost 3 generations,
Yeah.
right? Which is what I'm saying to everyone. When we start an organization, how do we keep it thriving? How do we keep it sustainable?
Personally, there's no real answer to that. I just feel like it's the community coming together. Everyone's trying to do something. Obviously, we want to keep our culture, our tradition, well known and keep it standing in Leicester, for example. So our Leicester Turkish community have been set up for about 4 years now. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of the organization? Leicester Turkish
Leicester
Community.
Turkish Education Centre.
LT,
Usually,
Leicester Turkish Education Centre, LTEC.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Leicester Turkish community. That's what we're now well known on social media. So we kind of go by that.
They build first community. That's why.
Yeah,
like
it is the first Turkish
yeah.
community.
Now,
in
Elif,
Leicester.
you are born in Leicester?
No, born in Turkey.
Born in Turkey. So how old were you when you came to Leicester?
2.
2 years old.
London. I used to live in London.
I see. And then you moved to Leicester.
Then Luton. Then Leicester. I've only been
Leicester.
in Leicester for 6 years.
It's okay. It's 3 L's. London, Luton,
Yeah.
Leicester. All the L's are the same. Right?
Well,
That's right. So that's interesting. Now we're going to talk about what's happening currently. What is your latest news? What is happening in the earthquake region?
so Alhamdulillah, they've started rebuilding houses. We've started accommodating people. No one's on the streets. No one's starving. They're trying to pick themselves back up. But again, they still need loads of support. It's an ongoing thing that's going to take years. The government's doing what they can. The community's doing what they can. There's loads of communities all around the UK and even other countries. So it is literally one ummah getting together and showing their generosity. So it's amazing to obviously, to be here, to be part of this organisation and many others. So it's just nice to know that there's so many generous people out there that are all supporting for the same cause.
Now, it's wonderful to know that even non-Muslim organizations like the Rotary Club, they came forward and they delivered 5 shelter homes, which is very good. At the start of the earthquake happened, what was the date of the earthquake? I'm testing you now for your knowledge. Remember, your knowledge is your power, so you need to fire answer. It was the 6th of February,
yeah.
right? And early hours of the morning,
4:32,
4:17.
4:17.
4:17, the earthquake struck at that time. And today you go there to areas surrounding Hatay, you have big houses, bigger than what we've seen here in Leicester.
And I wasn't asleep.
And those
I was
houses,
awake, yeah.
those houses were gone,
Yeah.
literally.
Everything.
The houses were shaken from their foundations and they just fell apart. And the rich man of yesterday is a poor man of today.
Everyone was equal. It's
Yeah, and we all have to learn from this kind of a natural disaster and how we pull together at that time. So it was wonderful to know that large companies, pharmaceutical companies, they came together they hired their own plane
Yeah.
and they were moving medicines there. And worldwide, there were rescue teams coming from India, from Pakistan,
Yeah.
from Canada, from all countries to work together. Now, what saddened me when I was there on my visit is one of the farmers that I met. I saw a tent outside a house and I pulled over to say, let's go investigate. Why is there a tent here? Why is this guy not where the rest of the tents are? And I met the whole family and they were treating me so well. They were living in that tent. The whole family, meaning the children, the mother, the father, and the grandparents, because they live close-knitted family like that, and they were living in a tent, and they were struggling. They'd made a makeshift toilet outside, and I said, "Why are you not going to stay in the tents? There are 800 tents just around the corner." And he said, "No, I want to bring my farm back in order and start working.
Yeah.
I have to do that because up to 25 people are working for me. I have to put them back in work." Now, this story he was telling me is that at night time he is having sleepless nights because he cannot forget the voices he's hearing of the people he was helping to pull out of the rubble. Yeah. Hands are sticking out, and across my journey I met people who are going through the same trauma, the rescue teams. That imagine somebody's buried and you can only see one hand and you have to hold that hand and hear the squeals and the cries, and they're trying to take all the rubble away in a manner that they don't injure the person more, and the person comes out not alive. Yeah. So this you carry with you for the rest of your time. So I tell everybody, you'll never know and feel that experience until you go and touch these people. You will cry.
Yeah. No, we were trying to avoid watching the news, but when it comes across and you watch it, that's it, straight tears. You can feel their pain. There was one like the structure of the house. It's called colon, and it's it always also translates to your arm. So one of the firefighters said, "We're going to cut the colon," and it was a little boy. He was 7 or 11, and was like, "Are you going to cut my arm?" And it was just so emotional how, although he wants to survive, he's nervous. It's just amazing how, they can just do what they did. I'm speechless.
So my brothers, my sisters listening in right now, if any of you ever go out to do good work, charitable work, and even if you're alone like I was, don't worry, because when Allah knows that you are doing something good, you are going out on a good path, you will find people who are there to help you, support you, like I did. I found people who were providing me with a driver, with a translator, and I met up with a very good renowned charity called ANDA, A-N-D-A. And AFAD is the main charity which work closely with the government, and there are many other charities. And I met these charity, and they were delivering the iftar for us. So we were doing iftar, but how do you go there and do iftar? You're on your own, so you have to find a partner. And we have now, since we're in daily contact with them, and my contact there in ANDA speaks little English, but when she sends me the replies back, the team that she's working with, heading, they use a Google Translate. So we come away to say that we will work with ANDA and provide them with a bakery.
Wow, mashallah.
So they can make bread, because they are still distributing food. And ANDA, on one of their sites, is supporting 800 tents. So these tents, people who are living there will now move into mobile homes. The shelter boxes, what the gentleman said. And when we went out there, that was our intention, to do the shelter boxes. I call it a prefab home. It's basically a 20-foot container, and it's double glazed, and it has a shower and a toilet. And there may be 6 people living in it. Now imagine, in your house, the size of your lounge which is your front room and your back room.
That's all you've got.
Smaller than that.
Yeah.
21 square meters, which is 7 meters long. Normal lounge is 5 meters long, so add 2 more meters and 3 meters wide. So they have to now live there for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
In this kind of situation, somebody tells you 2 years, double it. That's how long they'll be living there. So there's a lot of support still required, and we hope that this bakery will be a sustainable project where we can also use it to teach and train people. Yeah. And then they are giving bread to the people out there. Because bread, as you know, in Turkey, you need bread, you need olives, and then you need the other condiments as your starter every day. So literally, they're living on that bread from morning, afternoon, and evening. So this project, then we will carry it out in other places. So we need an oven, we need a mixer, we need a dough divider. For those of you who don't know, a dough divider, it makes a bowl. You put the dough in it, and it takes the bowl out. The mixer mixes the dough, you put water in it, you put the ingredients in it. You'll all become bread makers when I've shown you how to do it. But don't try it at home because you don't have all the equipment. Yeah. And you will then need a proving machine. You'll have to Google that to see what that does, the proving machine. And then you are in the oven. So this basic equipment, again, we are looking for donations for this project. And if we are also appealing to the manufacturers, and they've happily said that we'll do it at cost price in Turkey. And we shall put this together. And any ideas, if you listeners, right now, if you have any sustainable ideas, then you call us here at Ramadan Radio, Ramadan FM on 0116 4822 086, or you can text us on 0774 8855 055. So we're Radio Ramadan FM has allowed all communities to come and engage with us, to talk to us, because we want to build a better, stronger, integrated Leicester. So if we don't integrate with each other, we can't support each other. Yes. Right? So your community centre is no longer yours. Yeah. It's now ours.
I've said from the beginning of this earthquake, it has been, obviously it's a devastating matter, but during this cause, we've met so many different organisations, charities, so many different people that it's helped us as well as we want to help other people as well. So it's amazing to get to know other people and not only keep it as the Turkish Community Centre. You know, our doors are always welcome to anyone, whether you're Muslim, non-Muslim. But it was nice to know that there's people from Leicester, Leicestershire, all over the world that came.
Here's an idea I'm going to put to your table. All of you listening in, if Elif will invite you for a Turkish invite, you'll get some goodies there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%.
When they put their starter out, there's about 10 items on it, and you will enjoy the experience. What better way to engage with people than to have some good cuisine there? Now, Elif, somebody is asking me before the program is how many Turkish restaurants are there in Leicester?
Oh no.
On every street, at least.
Double over street.
Yeah, loads. Honestly, loads. I wouldn't be able to give you a number. There's one down the road. There's another one down the road. There's loads.
The one down the road, he sends iftar here to us, and one of his platters is good for 4 people. And Elif, you must try that. You will be pleasantly surprised. He's put a little kick into it, a little bit of a spice on it, and it's really popular. So this is an idea for you to pursue. We are very successful with this, is to invite different communities here for an iftar. But after Ramadan, likewise, you can do a little function and call people from all communities so we can engage. Like Nick Thomson from the Rotary. So the more diverse it is, the better it is for all of us, so that we all engaging with each other. It should never be us and them. What do you think? You think it's a good idea?
I think so, yeah.
So you're also from the same area in Hatay, or
No.
Turkey?
No, just same.
Which part of Turkey?
From Ankara.
Ankara.
Yeah.
Now, Ankara is a beautiful city because that's where I went from Istanbul, 4-hour drive to Ankara. And this is where one of my contacts I made, he arranged my trip to Gaziantep. And from Gaziantep, we drove to Hatay. So throughout the journey, a friend who knew a friend who knew a friend.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened for me.
Yeah, our friends there.
That's how it happens. As I said, the community centre, when we started with the donations, it was just spreading the word, and within days it got to a point where we had to pause donations because we had so many. So I think Turkish people are really strong with like their connections and getting to know people, spreading the word. So as I said, it's amazing to be able to be here as well and meet you and your team. So
yeah, now look, our radio team, Ismail Sakarani, he was out there. You had LIA, Leicester Islamic Academy, they were out there. You had the Islamic Foundation, the Islamic Charity, they were there as well. Islamic Relief.
yeah.
So there was like, at least these are 4 or 5 that I remember. And my good friend Salim, he was doing a solo on his own. He was out there and he was actually building these homes there with the team, a Turkish team. He was building them there straight away. That was, the earthquake was on the 6th. By the 9th, he was starting to build these homes. So there were many active people. I'm only counting about 6, but there were almost 10 organizations from just Leicester
Yeah.
who were out there. And when I was coming back from Turkey, from Istanbul, on the plane was a group called Islamic Muslim Charity from Nottingham. And they did wonderful work there. Very quickly, they put together almost 100 homes
Wow.
in a short time. Muslim Charity from Nottingham. So if you look across the country, from Scotland, I was meeting people who were going out there. If you look across the world, across England, I can speak about today, so much work people have done.
Yeah, we had a care home in Scotland. A lady, or between them, they donated 46 sleeping bags and blankets. And she drove all the way from Scotland in her car, dropped it off. And now, we keep in touch with her. And it's amazing, as I said, to know these people. And it's just nice to kind of get to know them and meet these people. Obviously, today it's for Turkey. Tomorrow it'll be for someone else. And we'll be there for them as much as they were there for us.
So we've got to convert this negative now to a positive, with engaging with each other and working hard to build a better,
Absolutely.
safer, secure. Security is very important in our community, and we're only going to do that if we engage with each other. We need to bring this awareness, all these stories, we need to capture them. Because our children tomorrow, they need to know that once upon a time this happened, and this is what our elders did together.
They need to follow our steps. Yeah,
follow our
inshallah.
steps, and our grandchildren. So for us to make a better tomorrow, we have to remember yesterday and do the right things today for a better tomorrow. And this is what, in the month of Ramadan, this is what we all have to learn and put into ourselves, and our iman has to become stronger for the next 11 months. And we look forward to the next Ramadan now. So we almost now 56 seconds left. Elif, if you can say your last word or two.
I just want to say we are obviously on Saffron Lane, Turkish community. We've got many events, and it's our doors are open to everyone. Just keep an eye on our social media. If you just write Leicester Turkish Community, we'll come up with our logo. And we've got many charity events coming up as well that are in action. So just keep an eye out. Pop in. We're there most 4 or 5 days a week as well. We'd love to meet you. And
a message from you?
Thank you so much, Jazakallah, for everybody already. So,
right, you're just about closing now. So, brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us throughout this month of Ramadan. We're coming to the last